Welcome to Weekly Wisdom. I'm here to continue to share on this series that we've been in over the last several weeks. Took a break last week, celebrated the moms, but jumping back in today on the series, I Am Covered. I Am Covered. And today I want to look at a familiar passage of Scripture over in the book, hey, Lysandra, over in the book of Daniel, the third chapter. All my Vacation Bible School alumni and Sunday School alumni will have studied this text. But I want to look at it from the framework of God's covering. We've been dealing with that for several weeks on how He creates systems of protection over us and around us to protect us because we're valuable to Him. And I don't know, I just felt as soon as that came out of my mouth, I felt like stopping right there parenthetically and just reminding you that you have value with heaven. You have value with God. He has created you a little lower than the angels. He has orchestrated a purpose for you that is good. He has plans for you to prosper and to be in good health and to achieve and to conquer and to overcome. And I don't know who needs to hear that just as we pass by that thought today, but I need you to recognize that you have value with God. You are valuable to God. He has handcrafted you specifically and ordained you for a specific purpose that is paramount to any one of your problems that is facing you. It supersedes any negative view or perspective that anyone may hold against you, even those down through the years who may have shared messages with you in an attempt to convince you that you are less than He created you to be. I'm here to tell you that they were wrong and that He is right. That He has created you. He does not create foolishness. He does not create junk. He creates valuable types of people, places, and things. He is a God of the valuable. Oh my goodness, He's a God of the valuable, and many times we don't see the value in ourselves that He created within us. We have worth. I'm getting stuck right there today, but it feels all right to me. You are worth it to Him. You are worthy of the blessings, the opportunities, the assignments, even that He has for you. You are worthy. I wish somebody would just type it because you need to declare it to yourself. You need to let yourself hear yourself confess this. I am worthy. I'm worth more than abuse. I'm worth more than limited opportunities. I'm worth more than failure. I'm worth more than the negative reputation that people try to put and attach to me. I am worth it. I'm worth it. I'm worth what? I'm worth everything that He has planned and orchestrated for me. I'm worth, oh my goodness, I'm worth the promises that He has given me. I'm worth it. I am worthy. Oh my goodness. It's not that I have earned it. It's not that I'm just so amazing, but He has made me worthy. He has made me worthy of every blessing and every piece of favor that He wants to assign to my life. And so I'm going to stop fighting against the favor. Oh my goodness. I feel all right today. I'm going to stop fighting against the favor that has been assigned to my life. And instead, I'm going to align myself with the plan, the purpose, and the will of God for my life to be who He says I am, to do what He tells me to do, to say what He tells me to do. Why am I going to walk in that confidence and in that boldness and with that courageous attitude and mindset? Because I am worthy. I'm worth it. I have worth to Him. I have value to Him. I am valuable. I am a valuable asset to heaven. I am needed here because I'm on a mission on this earth that has been assigned to me from heaven, and I must walk out my mission, my purpose, my calling, and live in my favor that is assigned to me, the resources that have been assigned to me by the source to accomplish the vision the provision that has been assigned to me according to the vision that he has given me to accomplish my mission, my assignment, my purpose, my calling. And so I am going to stop fighting the favor. I'm going to walk in the covering that he has for me. I'm going to walk in the provision he has for me. I'm going to walk in the favor that he has for me. So let's look at this text. Y'all all right? I'm all right. Let's look at this text. Daniel 3, verses 19 through 25. I'm reading from the New Living Translation. Verse 19 says, Nebuchadnezzar was so furious with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego that his face became distorted with rage. He commanded that the furnace be heated 7 times hotter than usual. Then he ordered some of the strongest men of his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and throw them into the blazing furnace. So they tied them up and threw them into the furnace, fully dressed in their pants, turbans, robes, and other garments. And because the king, in his anger, had demanded such a hot fire in the furnace, the flames killed the soldiers as they threw the 3 men in. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, securely tied, fell into the roaring flames. But suddenly, somebody just say that. But suddenly, you don't even got to type it unless you feel like it. But suddenly, there's a suddenly shift in this text, just like there's a suddenly shift that is occurring in your life right now. But suddenly, Nebuchadnezzar jumped up in amazement and exclaimed to his advisors, "Didn't we tie up 3 men and throw them into the furnace?" "Yes, your majesty, we certainly did," they replied. "Look," Nebuchadnezzar shouted, "I see 4 men, unbound, walking around in the fire unharmed, and the 4th looks like a god." Oh my goodness, this text is so good to me. It gets me excited every time that I read it. We find this situation where these, what we've referenced as the 3 Hebrew boys, are thrown into the fiery furnace. We've heard these stories, and we've heard that these 3 Hebrew boys who were given the name Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were subject to the Babylonian Empire and Nebuchadnezzar the king. Basically, they were servants on a fast track school, like they were honor students in this slave school, if you will. And sorry, trying not to sneeze. Okay, they here they were, and they had done something that irritated the powers that be. Whew, I'm trying not to sneeze. I think I caught it. That irritated the powers that be. They refused to worship the Babylonian king as their lord. And they, oh my goodness, they insisted upon honoring their God, even in the midst of a strange land, even in the midst of an environment that did not believe what they believed. Catch what I'm throwing at you. They insisted upon honoring their God, even in a society where it was unpopular to do so, where everyone else was bound to peer pressure and they all fell and worshiped the same way that others did. They said, no, that's where I got to stop. I draw the line. I will not worship someone who is not my God. And so this had infuriated Nebuchadnezzar, and they received as a sentence for their apparent crime a death sentence to be thrown into a fiery furnace to be destroyed. It says Nebuchadnezzar was so furious with these 3 Hebrew boys that his face became distorted with rage. And I'm here to tell you that there are some people who are enraged with the fact that you will not align with their societal expectations for you. And I don't know who that is, but it says Nebuchadnezzar was so enraged that he commanded that the punishment, or that the furnace, be heated 7 times hotter than usual. He said, I'm really going to get them. I'm going to make an example of them. And there's someone who would like to make an example of you because you are different. Because you are different. I hope this message encourages you, though. Verse 20, it says, Then he ordered some of the strongest men of his army, his best resources, to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and to throw them into the blazing furnace. So they did what they were commanded. They tied up Shadrach, they tied up Meshach, they tied up Abednego, and they threw them into the furnace. And it says that they even kept the valuable things that they wore. They wanted to destroy not only Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, but they wanted to destroy everything that was connected to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. I'm not trying to set a dark context for you today, but there are some people, there are some enemies who are assigned to you, and they want to destroy you and everything that is connected to you. So they kept them in their valuable pants and turbans and robes and garments. And verse 22 said, and because the king in his anger, he was responding to his anger. He was operating out of a moment of rage. And because the king in his anger had demanded the fire to be turned so hot in the furnace, the flames killed the most valuable soldiers that he had assigned to this duty. Because remember, it told us a couple of verses ago that he had assigned his strongest men of his army to handle this assignment. And so his most valuable players who had handled this assignment actually they fell victim. They fell victim to being in alignment with someone who hated Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. All right? And so, because the king in his anger had demanded such a hot fire in the furnace, the flames killed the soldiers as they threw the three men in. Yet the flames that were assigned to the three men did not kill or harm the three men. Verse 23, so Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, securely tied, fell into the roaring flames. And for some of you today, I believe that you are facing some circumstances and some situations. Oh my goodness. Whether it be in your occupation, whether it be in your family, whether it be in your relationships, whether it be in your finances, in your housing situations, in your health. I don't know what it is for you, but I believe that you are facing some roaring flames. I don't know who I'm talking to today, but I believe that you've maybe even become discombobulated. You can't hold it together because what you see in front of you, where it looks like you are headed, is into a fiery furnace. And what you see ahead of you looks like roaring flames. I'm here to help you today, to encourage you that just because the flames were intended for you doesn't mean that they will be able to do you harm. No weapon that is formed against you shall prosper. It may form, the flames may fly high, the furnace may be turned up 7 times hotter than usual, but don't fret. Oh my goodness, if you are covered, then you are safe. If you are covered, you're safe. I wish you would type it. I'm covered, so I'm safe. I'm covered, so I'm safe. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, securely tied, fell into the roaring flames. Now they're in the midst of the thing that has been assigned to do them harm. They're in the process of experiencing the impact of the thing that was determined, and that was the temperature was set, the thermometer was turned up with the intent and the purpose, oh my goodness, to do them harm. They fell into the roaring flames. But then we begin to see a conjunction. You all know I like conjunctions. Conjunction, junction. What's your function? Verse 24 says, but. Oh my goodness. And then it doesn't stop there. Then it gives an exclamation. But suddenly. But suddenly. So but begins to let us know that the situation has been looking like it's heading in a particular trajectory. And I don't know who I'm talking to, and I don't know what you're facing. But your circumstances and your situation looks like it is headed and postured. It is telegraphed to go in a particular trajectory. But indicates that the trajectory that the situation is intended to go on is about to be disturbed. Oh my goodness. I hope you're hearing me today. It's about to be disturbed. It looks like you are headed into a situation where there is no bouncing back from it. It looks like you are headed into a fiery furnace. It looks like you are headed into a predicament that is designed to destroy you. But I love it when we see a but in the word. Everything that it looks like turns around with the but. And then he intensifies it and maximizes it because he adds another word after the but. But suddenly, but suddenly. So it turns around all of a sudden. It turns around in an instant, and I am here to help you today. I'm on assignment to help you today to say that things are about to turn around suddenly in that situation that looks like it's been designed to take you out. It's been designed to do you harm. But suddenly, I wish you would type but suddenly, but suddenly, but suddenly. I don't know what it is. Your relationship seems like it's falling apart. But suddenly, my goodness, you received a diagnosis from the doctor that seems like there's no positive end in sight. But suddenly, oh my goodness, you're seeing things begin to fall apart in the workplace and on your job according to the assignment that you have. But suddenly, oh my goodness, you're facing financial disaster. You're on the brink of not being able to supply the things that you need in order to survive and thrive. But suddenly, it looks like nobody likes you. It looks like you can't have any positive relationships, but suddenly, I don't know who I'm talking to today, but I hope you grab hold of the but suddenly. It seems like things have not worked out the way that you thought they were going to work out, but suddenly. It seems like that business is falling apart, but suddenly. It seems like your dreams, you're giving up on them, but suddenly. I hope you grab hold today of the but suddenly in this text. But suddenly, verse 24 says, Nebuchadnezzar jumped up in amazement. The one who had ordered your harm will look at the situation and be like, oh my goodness, there's something going on in this situation. But suddenly Nebuchadnezzar jumped up in amazement and exclaimed to his advisors, and he asked a question. He said, didn't we tie up 3 men? Shadrach, wait, let me count this. There was Shadrach, there was Meshach, and there was Abednego. Didn't we tie up 3 men and throw them into the furnace that I told you to make 7 times hotter? Didn't we tie up 3 men and throw them into the furnace? And they responded, they said, yes, King, yes, your Majesty, we certainly did. There's no doubt about it. The condition was established to do them harm. The condition was established to take them out. Oh, the circumstances were on a trajectory of destroying them in a way that there is no possible way to come back from. Absolutely, we followed the instructions. We turned it up 7 times hotter. We certainly did put 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. We put 3 men into this fire. And Nebuchadnezzar continues his analysis of the situation that is playing out before his very eyes. He is the enemy that has ordered this disaster upon Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, but yet he becomes the narrator to the miraculous. Oh my goodness. I hope you hear me today. The very people who are calling for your demise are about to turn into the narrators of the miraculous move of God in your life. They are going to become the spokesperson to narrate the scene that begins to demonstrate that what they meant for your harm didn't work, that the weapon that they formed against you didn't prosper. And Nebuchadnezzar continues to narrate the situation in verse 25, and he says, look at this, look, behold, take a look, look inside this furnace. Nebuchadnezzar shouted, first of all, we put 3 people in. It was Shadrach, it was Meshach, and it was Abednego. But when I look in there, do you see what I see? Because I see 4 men. Not only is there an extra person in this scenario, and I'm here to tell you today, there's an extra person in your scenario. There's an extra being walking around in the fire with you. You are covered by number 4. You are covered by the creativity and the power of heaven. You are covered by the 4th man. He said, I see 4 men. But then as he begins to describe them, this is what I want to get to today. I see 4 men, and all 4 of them are unbound and unharmed. I wish you would type it. I'm unbound and I'm unharmed. I'm unbound and I'm not tied up in this thing that was meant to bring my demise. I'm not tied up in it, and I'm not harmed. I'm coming out of it better than I went into it. Oh my goodness. I hope you're catching this today. He says, "Look," Nebuchadnezzar shouted, "I see four men unbound walking around in the fire unharmed." And then he begins to give some more insight, and he rubs his eyes. I can only imagine in my imagination, and he says, "I see four, and the fourth one looks like a god. The fourth one looks like the son of God," is what the King James Version says in its account. Uh, and he says they're walking around in this thing that my strongest soldiers couldn't even handle to be on the outer fringes of. God has covered you in a way where you are able to walk around within circumstances that would have taken out people who appear to be stronger than you. And so he narrates this scene. Nebuchadnezzar shouted, first of all, there's four men here. Something happened. We put in three, and there's four walking around. And we put in three men that were tied up very, very tightly. And these four men are walking around unbound. They aren't tied up. And then he says, and not only that, the people who put them in died because of the heat, but they're walking around like they're at the beach within the fire. They're walking around in a way that does not make sense. I don't understand how they could have joy in the midst of blazing flames. I don't understand how they can look relaxed in the midst of blazing flames. Who am I talking to today? I don't understand how you can look relaxed and at peace in the midst of a situation that is trying and attempting to do you harm. I don't understand how you can walk in that job and smile when you know that attacks are being waged against you. I don't know how you can come home and smile in the face of adversity and opposition when you know that the enemy is trying to stir up strife in your relationships. I don't know how you're able to remain calm when people are trying to press your buttons. Well, I'm here to tell you that there's a fourth man in the fire. There's a fourth man in the circumstance with you that is covering you and protecting your joy and protecting your peace and protecting your vision and protecting your calm and protecting your perspective and protecting your health and protecting your outcomes even while you are going through. Look, Nebuchadnezzar shouted, "I see four men unbound walking around in the fire unharmed." I'm unbound and I'm unharmed. I'm not tied up by the things that have tried to keep me from being able to move. I'm not paralyzed because of the circumstances that have mounted themselves against me. I'm not in a place where I must be still in the face of adversity and opposition, but instead I'm walking around through the fire with a peace that passes all understanding, that is guarding or covering my heart and my mind. And not only am I unbound, this fire is not hurting me. This fire isn't burning me. This fire isn't disintegrating me. This fire isn't prospering against me. No weapon that's formed against me shall prosper. And so there's four men that aren't bound. There's four men that aren't harmed. And the fourth looks like a God. I'm here to encourage you today that you're covered. I'm here to encourage you today that you're fireproof. You're fireproof. He has covered you so that you can be in circumstances that would have disintegrated other people. But you're walking around with a peace that passes understanding. Go in this, your peace, that whatever it is that is awaiting you on Monday morning, whatever it is that does not go that far, whatever is awaiting you on Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening, you're fireproof. Be encouraged. Have a phenomenal week. Love you all.